Today's date is May 4th, 2023. The time is now 16:16. Present is Officer Noah Shelnut. This is in reference to information that was provided to Chief Five Ash at some point late yesterday. An individual advised the chief that Officer Shelnut was potentially utilizing a banned substance, some sort of anabolic steroid. If you would, Shelnut, just is there any validity or any truth to the fact that you're currently taking any kind
taking
of?
It.
Okay. Not currently, but at some point you had used.
Yes, I dispelled that in my hiring assessment or during my interview with who's the old polygraphist, Greg. I had to go through my checklist that I had took it in college.
Okay.
And then I was not taking it currently when I was getting hired here, and I dispelled that in my polygraph and met with the chief about it afterwards and disclosed the same information to him that I took it in college for several months.
When would that be, time frame wise, when you were in college? Maybe
I got hired in September of 2020, early 2020, late 2019 maybe.
Okay.
I'd be lying to you if I told you the exact months.
Okay. All right. But late 2019, early 2020 was sometime. And exactly what was it? Do you remember what the substance was?
Yes. I think it was called testosterone cypionate, I think it's called.
Was that a pill or an
It was injectable.
Syringe? Okay.
Yep.
Currently you're not utilizing anything as far as any kind of growth hormone, testosterone, or anything like that?
No, sir.
All right. Have you had your levels checked? I mean,
And that's what I'm seeking to do.
Okay.
To get on it.
So you feel like your natural testosterone levels may be low, and you're seeking
increasingly.
Okay. All right. But
because I used to go to the gym 6-7 days a week. Now I go 1 to 2 maybe if I'm lucky. And I don't know if that's come to do with the stress on the job. But
okay. Just as policy kind of lays out, I'm going to provide you this. It's just a notice. Again, this information came in to me earlier today directly through the chief that someone had contacted him. Mm-hmm. Have you told anybody at the agency of your past use of it or anything? Or
I don't hide that one bit. I tell people that I've taken it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't hide that.
All right. Just do me a favor, read that notice right there, and let me know if you have any questions. I'll get you to sign and date it, and I'll give you a copy. I'll give you the original. I just need to make a copy after you.
Yeah. All right. Do I need to sign that?
Yeah, if you would sign the bottom, date it. This is yours. It's the original, and I'll just need you to run over to the Med Center on Vernon, Solt's office over there. They know you'll be coming by, so just. Get over there. They should get you in pretty quickly.
Now, how does this work with being in work tonight?
You're going to go to work at this point.
Okay.
Yeah. So.
All right. Just make sure.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Yes. That's yours right there.
All right.
Thank you. Time is now 16:20. Okay. Today's date is May 19th, 2023. The time is now 13:37. I'm with Amanda Salt at the LaGrange Med Center. Okay, Amanda, and you were explaining testosterone.
All right, because like I said, the testosterone and epitestosterone, that is normal testosterones that are organically made. Your body produces them. Everyone, whether male or female, has a level, and it will be detected through urine. Okay, but once those levels, when they reach a certain level, then that's where you start getting what they call the abnormal result that shows, well, this isn't normal. Nobody's body makes this.
Okay.
So they do an analysis. This testosterone, the one we're looking at, is a 3.3 nanograms per milliliter. Okay. That reference interval, and for some, I don't know why they didn't list it here, but the testosterone and epitestosterone levels completely normal within the human body for a male, and the reference intervals do range in the age.
Sure.
There's like 25 to 30, and then it should be this at this, and so on. But normal usually across the board is 1.1. Okay. Or even 0.9 or lower. It just depends on where you are. The younger you are, you'll be more likely to have the 1 point something.
And that's this TE ratio number right here? Is that no?
I'm talking about just the actual testosterone and epitestosterone levels.
Yep.
Okay. Typically, the younger you are, the more higher you will be, but you're still in that normal zone, which these are, but you're on the higher end of the normal.
Sure.
Normal average is 1.1. Okay. So, but then when you combine these two numbers together, you get what they call the TE ratio. All right. And so the TE ratio should be 4.0 or less.
Okay.
Anything over 4.0 is considered quote unquote doping. And that's the most common form to tell, the telltale sign.
All right.
All right, now, with that being said, you can, yes, have 3.9 or whatever. That's going to be a judgment call. Is that still within the normal reference? Yes. You know, it's just like for any other drug screen. When you have a drug screen and you have the cutoff levels, do you see these micro milligrams over here? They do allow a teensy little bit because that's just part of the testing itself. But in this case, because this is something that is, you know, excremented through the urine, through the body, then these levels, if they have something that's abnormal, these are very 100% right on. And it's only because they do this method is what they call gas chromatography. And that is a specific testing that they do of this to make sure down to the molecular level that this is what it is 100%.
Okay.
Because then there's no room for error. They call it and it even specifies here. Where is it? I'm reading it. See, GCMS. That's the gas chromatography. And the MS is some other kind of molecular test. But this is the most common confirmation. And because there is no...
It's very accurate.
Right. There's no reference interval.
Sure.
Because there's not when you do gas chromatography.
Okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So, with this, 0.2 was his ratio. Fine.
Okay. And that was Brooks, correct?
Correct.
Point 2 was Brooks.
For his TE ratio. And then the same with Nunez.
Arteche,
Yeah. It was, where is this? 2.4. Okay.
Well within.
It is, but then you look up here to this level.
Yeah, that was high compared to.
But his also was 0.2. So his was 0.2. It's still registered, but it was still very low.
Right.
Then you have but see, look at his testosterone.
3.3.
Right. 3.3 versus 21.8. But even with his looking like, oh my gosh, that was so much higher than his. But see, it just bumped it up 2.4.
Right.
So your ratio, there's not a lot of wiggle room in there.
Well, I noticed it's like the epi-testosterone, they flipped compared, like his epi is higher, but his testosterone is lower, and then
The higher this number is,
yeah.
the higher your ratio is going to be.
Okay.
The higher your epi-testosterone, the higher your ratio is going to be. But when I'm saying that's 2.4, and then when you say, you know, when people say, oh, well, anything 4.0 or less, you know, but that number, there's such a very small margin there. And even with these numbers being, you know, triple the amount of his, it only made it go up to 2.4 because it's a very tight margin.
Got it.
So when you get up past 4.0, you...
Definite.
Yes.
And most likely currently on a cycle or utilizing.
Yes.
And he did admit that he did, but it was 8 to 12 months ago. So maybe that also could be why his is slightly more elevated, possibly.
I'm not 100% sure about the half-life in the body. It would depend on the quality. Is it a real medicinal one, or is it one they're getting off the market somewhere?
Right.
You know, it just depends. If it's prescription grade, the quality, all those kind of things, his shape, his body, chemistry. I mean, there's a lot of variables. All right, so then with Shelnutt. Okay, again, all his drug screen was negative.
Okay.
But then we're here. Okay.
12.9.
Yeah.
So 3.
Anything above 4.0 is considered doping.
Yeah. Okay.
This is not anything that would be so-called a therapeutic level. If you have gentlemen that you hear about all the time that have low T, okay, that's low testosterone.
Right.
All right, They come here, we'll give them testosterone injections and blah, blah, blah. But they would not test positive for epitestosterone. That's the big difference.
Yeah.
When those two get combined, that shows that there's more involved than just plain old hormone replacement.
Okay.
So they would have to pony up a prescription for the cystone
Okay.
250 to be able to even
Justify that. Even
Right.
come close to justifying
Right.
that. Okay.
Right. I personally don't even know anyone who even writes it.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, with that being said, because that gives you some comparison to where you can see 8.9, but see his was 1.9.
Mm-hmm.
But the testosterone was so high that throws that number into the 12.9.
Got it.
Again, it's a tight margin.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So that's for Shelnutt. Then, all right, Cavender. We'll save the best for last. For Cavender. Because what was his? Yeah, 12.9. Okay, 3.9.
So it's right there at that 4.0.
Clinically, would you look at this and have to say, if you looked at the reference interval, you have the validity to say, yes, this is negative. Is it 0.1 from the cutoff? Yes.
Right.
So that would be more of a judgment call.
Now, Mark did tell me at one time, he said he wasn't currently doing it, but he did say that he was seeing, a medical professional for low T, and he was getting.
Okay, but again, he would have to show the prescription of what he was getting.
And it was not this. I know that. It was not the Sustanon.
Okay.
So,
but there are different types of testosterone out there.
Right.
And when you say, the Sustanon 250, you didn't know until you looked it up that was 4 different types in one.
Mm-hmm.
Versus the plain old, if you go in for low T, they just give you plain old testosterone.
Right.
Cypionate typically is the most common. Or the dipronate, but cypionate's most common. And that's just, again, because of the delivery method. Because that cottonseed oil, which is the cypionate, it goes in the body and it stays, and it's a very slow releasing. And it peaks from the day you get your shot. It peaks at 7 days, and then you go back down. And then by the time you're into the 10th, 14th day, then it's time for your next shot. So, again, without the cypionate and all this, it's an immediate release. So that's why they have to do it all the time.
Yeah.
To keep it up.
So, your professional opinion, you would lean towards he was probably taking this. Okay. All right.
You can test him again and see.
All right.
Makes me mad.
Yeah.
Because this is the part where the personal gets involved.
And then we've got Askins.
I cannot place him to save my soul. I cannot place his face. I'd have to go pull it. Now, if I had to bet money, because this one, handed me like the shake.
Oh, yeah.
Scared to death. But he's always, to me, he's wound tight.
Yeah.
But he.
Today's date is June 1st, 2023. Time is now 9:03. Present is Chief Five Ash, Officer Shelnutt, and myself. This is a reference to a abnormal drug screen that took place. Don't have the date in front of me. I believe it was May 5th, 2023. Reference to testosterone, epitestosterone levels that were abnormal.
Well, no, you've seen the results that came back. Where we've been in the interim, in the interest of giving you the benefit of the doubt, I contacted a couple of doctors that I know. One is a reproductive endocrinologist who looked at the results. One is a general practitioner. They were both of the opinion that there's no natural substance that could cause the levels that came back in your blood.
Okay.
Per your statements to Rob before, you're not on any kind of prescription, anything. But I'm more than willing to listen to whatever you have to say as far as an explanation goes, if you have one.
My big thing is that I'm not fighting for my job, okay? I understand what's going on publicly with others. The issue I've had with this is just my integrity being questioned. I hate that. I could leave today and go get another job, but I hate leaving and people think I was lying to them. Like, you can ask my supervisors. I am openly honest about things that can get me in trouble. Like, speed caps when they were relevant, cussing, breaking policies, uniform. Like, I was openly honest about things I've messed up on.
Yes,
and I used to take this stuff heavily. I mean, bad. Like, I wasn't addicted to it, but like, I loved the way I looked when I was on it. I loved the way it made me feel. And I took it from a guy I got at the gym 3-something years ago at Gold's Gym. I just want to ask y'all this. Do I look like I'm on steroids? From y'all's personal opinion, do I look like somebody that juices up?
No, I've seen people that are 135 pounds that were taking it and had little to no muscle tone whatsoever, and I've seen people that have been on Dianabol and Sustanon, and they got veins popping out of their arms.
And when I used to, and I'm not trying to get weird in here, guys.
Sure.
But when I used to take it, this was one picture I looked like,
right,
and I don't even look like I do now. I had veins popping out of every part of my body. I was 30 pounds bigger than I am now.
Right.
I mean, and I took it very, very heavily. And I don't know if one of the results I provided y'all, it showed I might have stage 2. I don't know if y'all saw that. I don't know if that affects what's still in my body. I don't know, because that is what excretes substances out of your body, and I don't know if that has messed with that. Also, testosterone, your adrenal glands, which sit on top of the kidney, produce testosterone. Is one of the organs that produce testosterone. So I don't know if that is an influencer. I don't know if when I took it 3 years ago, it messed with my positive, negative feedback cycle of my hormones that gets it back to a normal state. I don't know if that affected it. That's the thing. Like, I don't take it. Some days I wish I did, because I don't look like I used to. My performance, sexual, in the gym, my confidence is not the same. I don't take it. And you can ask anybody, my best friend who has a prescription for it. I've never asked him for any of his. I've never asked I've asked where he gets it and how he got it, and his procedures he went through to get a prescription for it. I've asked him about that, but I've never taken it. I've never asked him for his. And so these are my results I provided y'all, but I wanted to provide just one thing. So I've done some research I'm trying to cover my own ass, and I'm trying to just keep my name intact. So I think it's the World Against Doping Administration. They are the governing board that conducts anabolic tests in athletes.
Right.
So let me pull it up. So I guess got my eyes on it and looked at it. Did I test positive for a substance? Or was it just the testosterone to testosterone ratio?
Yes.
Okay. And if somebody was on it, would it show a positive hit on the substance? That was my thing.
Like, that I don't know, not based on the specific test they did.
So the World Against Doping Administration, so they changed the level of the testosterone to epitestosterone ratio, in which further investigation for potential testosterone abuse must be conducted. It used to be a 6-to-1 ratio. Now it's at a 4-to-1 ratio. Right. That's their, I guess, window of this is somebody that's possibly taking anabolic steroids, is a ratio of 4-to-1. And what was mine?
Almost
12.
13.
Almost 13.
13?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it's double of even the old standard.
Because the doctor that I talked to works part-time with the NFL, and with the NFL's cutoff is 5 to 10. They say is indicative. Anything above 10 is just an absolute positive.
I can't explain that then. I can't defend it then. But I mean, I will take a polygraph. I'll do whatever. But I also understand that y'all got to do what's best for this agency, and I'm okay with whatever. I mean, I'm going to be fine. My family's going to be fine. My thing is, I just don't want people to judge me, and I don't want my name to be tarnished. That's the only thing.
Well, we don't, Noah, it's just like the other guys. I'm not going to put your business in the street. If we have open records, we have to comply with those.
I understand that.
But other than that, just like I told the other guys, and not passing any judgment on you, but based on their admission of it. Bad decision doesn't make you a bad person. Mm-hmm. The exact same things I told them before they left. if somebody calls me and you put me down as a job reference, I'll tell them I'd hire him this afternoon. Nothing changes with as far as I'm concerned, with you as a person. This is just as a protection for the agency and our public perception. You don't want it all to be about optics, but if the public has a mistrust for us, then that causes us issues.
I understand.
So that's kind of where we are with things. But I will give you the opportunity to resign, just like I did the other guys, in not in lieu of termination, but between the two. But that's where, of course, it's going to affect your post record. But it's not a matter of us running around saying Noah's a liar or Noah's a steroid head or anything else. What you tell people is your business from this point on. If they ask me, I'll tell them, if you want to know, you file an open records request like everybody else does. Not going to have anybody. In fact, I won't even share the names. I got onto a couple the other day that popped off a comment. It was in jest, and it wasn't anything really ugly about some of the guys that were gone, but it was out of sorts, and I don't tolerate horse shit like that. Things happen. People make decisions, and we have to live with them, and that's just kind of where we are. But this doesn't ban you from the police department, doesn't ban you from coming up here and seeing those guys. As comfortable as you may or may not be with that, I'll leave that totally up to you. But it's just kind of where we are.
And I can't fault you for that. I mean, you just got here,
yes,
and you can't be that guy that just sweep things under the rug.
Right.
I understand that, but it hurts me because I know I don't take it, and I wish I did, because I want to take it still, and because I used to take it very heavily, and I can't. Y'all got a result, y'all got a number, that's what y'all gonna base this off of, and I can't help that, okay? But when, I think I showed Rob this, I never provided him an actual copy of it, but, and I'm not trying to fight for my job, I'm just talking to y'all, just guys to guys here. So, I had a guy, his name's Corey Freeman, I went to high school with him, and I had posted a story on my Instagram of me, like a douchebag, flexing in the mirror, and he commented back and he said, "No more testosterone," and this was August 12th, 2020, and I said, "Nope, stopped a while ago, especially since I work for LaGrange PD now." And he said, "I know plenty of cops on tests," and I said, "Well, I wasn't risking it, I really wanted the job." And I can honestly say, just guys to guys y'all here, I don't take it, I wish I did. I've been honest about that, and I took it 3 years ago, and I could have hid that. You know what I mean? I could have risked.
Sure.
I could have took the chance of passing the polygraph, getting hired on here, but I felt as though I'm a human being. I've made mistakes, and this agency deserved to know the mistakes I've made if they came public. Okay, and that was when I was single. I was in college. I didn't have kids. Now I'm married and have 3 kids. Why would I have needles around my house, you know what I mean, and do that in front of my kids? And I can honestly say I haven't, because I had to stop. I had to wait almost a year for my body to come back to like a homeostatic state to where I could even have kids, because I was sterile for a certain amount of time because I took it so long. So, and I think I'm still, I don't think I'm sterile now, but I'm at peace with the decision you made.
I appreciate that.
And I just, the only thing I ask is that I'm still welcome back to come say hey to people.
Look, dude, I told all the rest of them, it's not a ban from the police department. I know you got a lot of friends here, a lot of close friends here. I don't expect you won't be a pariah as far as the LaGrange Police Department is concerned. And again, it's not just lip service. If you put me down as a reference, I'll tell you, I say, look, he made a singular decision that we couldn't get past in this environment, but I'd hire him back today. And it hurts me. That's another reason. Initially we just started just to go with the results. But you did a hell of a job here. I've had a lot of people come to me and speak to me on your behalf, and I wish there were any other path we could take. But this is just kind of where we're at. And I hate that. That's another reason, that I reached out to these other people that I know personally, and try to do everything I could to give them the benefit of the doubt. So.
And I appreciate that, and I appreciate y'all treat me with respect.
Sure. Well, you've done nothing to lose our respect. So.
I figured this was gonna happen, so because I knew I was on paid administrative leave. I knew how the other ones were going, so
Right.
I knew how this was going. So I'd already written this out for you.
Okay.
So that's my resignation.
All righty. You got a pen, Rob?
Yes, sir, I do.
Yes, thank you.
Hate putting you in the spot.
I hate this.
Tough job.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank y'all. You've
All
done
right.
a hell of a job here so
Well, I
far.
appreciate it.
Don't let it stop you. Keep doing it.
Look, I still love you, brother.
Appreciate it.
You're still welcome here, and like I said, every day, if you want to put me down.
Investigator Wall, Georgia Post Council.
Hey, this is Noah. Sorry I missed your call. I was on the phone.
That's okay, buddy. I was leaving you a message. You got a few minutes?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. I've got an open investigation on you due to your resignation while under investigation with LaGrange PD. Were you aware of that?
I was not aware that it was getting reported to post because I was actually told to resign.
Were you? Okay. Do you have
It was my understanding that they had finished everything. It didn't go to the GBI because there was no evidence other than speculation. And went in for my interview with the chief, and went over everything that they had. And he was like, he goes, "I'll accept your resignation." I was like, okay, I guess that's my way of.
resigning, huh?
Yeah, because they were like, he goes, "I'll accept your resignation." I was like, well, I guess they're about to fire me, so okay, here it is, sir.
Well, tell me what was going on. I mean, I've got everything from the GBI, and it doesn't show you were involved with Brooks and them at all. So tell me how your stuff started up, and what's the deal? What was the difference?
Yep. So about, how long's it been? About 4 years ago, I'm going to guesstimate about 4 years ago, when I was in Florida, just graduated college, I got into bodybuilding, and I started taking steroids illegally. I never denied that. That was about 4 years ago, and I took it for about a year, pretty heavily, and I decided I wanted to come back home to LaGrange, leave school, come back home, and I was like, I'm going to be a cop. So obviously, I stopped taking steroids, because I knew you could not do that working as a cop. That's very hypocritical. So I stopped taking them. Got hired on with LPD, disclosed that to Chief Lou Deckmar at the time during my hiring interview with him. He asked, before I took my polygraph, I disclosed that I had taken anabolic steroids for employment. Talked about that with him, disclosed that in the interview, and so on and so forth. Went on to work for about 2 years. Stayed into working out a little bit. People would message me all the time, like, "Hey, you still taking tests?" And I was like, "No, man, I work for LPD now. I can't risk that. It ain't worth it." And I had all these messages saved, and presented it to when this whole investigation started. I don't remember when this started, maybe April. I was at home, and one of my buddies called me and was like, "Hey, did you hear about Brooks, Cavender, and Askins and Arteche?" I'm like, "No, what happened?" He's like, "Well, apparently they were using steroids." And I was like, "What the heck? That's weird." Well, I believe it was the day before that, this same buddy, he had told me about this place called Cellular Health, and where you go and they draw your blood, they check all your levels and stuff, and see if your testosterone levels are low. And I was like, and you can get a prescription for it. And I was curious. I'm like, I'm starting to gain fat and losing activity in the gym, or losing motivation in the gym. I'm curious about it. So I went, got my blood drawn. I think it was that next day, which was probably about 2 days after the other ones got put on admin leave, I guess, or theirs went public. And I got a call from Rob Moore, who was in charge of OPS at my former department. He goes, "Hey, buddy, can I talk to you for a second? Come to my office." And this was before work. So I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." Went up there, and he told me to close the door behind him. And he's like, "So are you using anabolic steroids?" And I'm like, "No, sir, I'm not. I went yesterday to get my blood drawn to see if I could even qualify for getting a prescription for it, because I feel like my levels are low." And he was like, "Huh, well, they never presented any evidence." They said it was just a finger pointing. And I'm like, okay, what do I need to do? And they were like, well, you need to go take a drug test. So I went and took a drug test. Didn't hear anything back for like 2 weeks. But about 2 days after I got my blood drawn from that one company, he was like, can't start you on testosterone. Your normals are literally right in the middle of where they need to be for somebody your age. They're not high as if you're supplementing. They're not elevated. They're just right in the middle and can't do anything with it. I'm like, okay. 2 weeks go by, I get a call to come back. Rob Moore, and he's like, we're officially placing you on admin leave. And I'm like, okay, what for? And he goes, well, you tested negative for every substance. And I'm like, okay, so what's the issue? And he said some ratio, some TE, I think ratio he called it. He says elevated. And that can be an indicator sometimes of anabolic use. I'm like, okay, past use, current use, what does that mean? And he was like, well, we don't know. We're going to put you on admin leave. And I'm like, okay. Nothing happens. I think another 2 weeks go by. I get a call to come meet with the chief. And I go and sit down with Rob Moore and the chief. And they break it down and they say, hey, you tested negative for any anabolic substance. And I'm like, so what's the issue here? And they were like, well, it's this ratio, this TE ratio. We've reached out to doctors and they said that could be sometimes an indicator of anabolic use. And I'm like, well, I did about 3-4 years ago. Did it affect my chemical balance in my body? And they go, well, we don't know that. And I'm like, well, here's before and after photos, or here's pictures of me when I used to take it. And here are pictures of me now. Like, do I look the same? And they're like, well, no. And I'm like, so it would have the same effect on my body and I'd still look the exact same if I was taking it. And no answer. And I was like, I'm willing to take a polygraph. Like, what? And he goes, well, no, we got everything. And so I'll accept your resignation. I was like, okay. So I wasn't able to be polygraphed. I tested negative for every substance. I provided blood work that showed my normals were in normal limits. And the only red flag was that little ratio they had. And he told me to resign. So I did.
Gotcha.
And there was no evidence. It was just a finger pointing because I asked, I was like, where did this come from? And Chief was like, well, somebody just reached out to Chief one evening and said that they think that you might also be on steroids. And I'm like, I've told several people that I used to take it. I never once denied that. I was very transparent with it. And we got to do what we got to do when somebody points a finger. I'm like, okay.
Wow. Gotcha. Okay. Did you go get any testing privately by yourself after this?
The only test I had done was that blood drawn. But that was a day and a half, maybe before I was even aware there was an investigation being started on me. So after the fact, like my own private drug screen, no, sir, I really didn't. Because to be honest with you, I didn't really care to fight it. I was like, kind of like, I got 3 small kids. Like, is this the worst thing in the world? No, it's a great opportunity to go back into the medical field.
Gotcha. Is that where you are now?
Yes, sir.
Who do you work for?
It's a rehab hospital.
Oh, I got you. Okay. Do you have any intentions of getting back in law enforcement?
I'm not going to say yes with 100% fact because I don't want to fight it. I don't want to make it go public. You know what I mean? I kind of put it behind me and I don't want to cause any issues, you know what I mean, to make it more public than it has to be. You know what I mean? So I love law enforcement. And if there was an opportunity to go back without causing a bunch of wrinkles and uproar, I would. But I have no interest in testifying before the council, just to be honest with you about it.
No, you don't have to testify. I was just curious. I was just asking.
Yeah. I mean, I would love the opportunity to, like, you know what I mean, if it was still a possibility for me, you know what I mean, like where my certificate wasn't just like, surrendered or provoked, you know what I mean, where it's just there if I ever wanted it 10 years down the road, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, not in the near future. I don't plan on going back.
Okay. Yeah, what my deal is investigators is to find out the facts. What happened in the case? What can LaGrange give me to show me what happened? What can the GBI give me to show me what happened? And they don't have anything on you.
Yeah.
I've got with the district attorney's office. They've never heard your name. They don't have any deals work with you. So I'm then interviewing you. So I'm trying to gather what facts we have in the case, and then I'll write executive summary and I turn it over to my director, and then it goes before the probable cause committee. They will hear the facts and make a determination or make a recommendation. And then that recommendation is taken before the general counsel and it's made a final action. Now, in between those two, there are some appeals processes if you didn't like their recommendation. So just keep your address on the gateway updated.
So a few other things. I never really thought about it at the time, but afterwards I did. So one of the doctors that they had, I guess, provided my results to, and where I initially went and took the drug screen, his son used to work for LPD as an animal control officer, and my testimony on him ended up actually getting him fired based on his drunken behavior at a bar one night when I was working, and I didn't realize who he was, and he almost went to jail. And I told my superiors about it, and I didn't realize who he was, but his son ended up getting fired because of my testimony against him. And I was like, is this a vendetta against me? Like, what, you know what I mean? What is this? But the doctor I took my drug screen at, I ultimately had his son terminated from LPD because of my testimony on his behavior.
Gotcha. Who is that? Plays
a role in it, but that was, one thing I'm like, what?
Who's
the, not pick somebody a little more independent?
Yeah, who's the doctor? Who is it?
Gary Solt.
SULT?
SOLT. And, he may be completely unbiased, but, that was just one thing. And
now, when y'all went down there, it looks like Moore saying y'all went down on May the 19th. No, I'm sorry. May the 4th is when they had allegations on you and brought you in. They sent you the same day to go get the testing?
When I came in, he presented the allegations to me. He gave me a little letterhead saying, hey, Dr. Solt knows you're coming. I went. It was like 4:30, and the door was locked. The office was locked. I didn't know what to do, so I called Rob. He didn't answer. I called my supervisor, and we ended up talking to Captain Dale Strickland. He said, just go first thing in the morning. So I ended up going the next morning at like 8 o'clock in the morning because they had closed early, I guess, that night.
All righty. And did you see the doctor then, or one of the nurses, or what?
It was a nurse.
Okay, so what did she take, a urine sample?
Yeah.
All right. Did they ever show you any?
It didn't seem like they had a lot of facts to me, and I didn't, I don't like controversy. And I was like, Chief's doing his job. He just got here a month ago. You know what I mean? I can't hate him for it. But he told me, he said, I want you to put me down as your reference wherever you go. I will tell anybody I'll hire you within a second. And I'm like, well, why would you say that if you don't trust me? You know what I mean?
Yeah. If he don't want you there and wants you to resign.
What?
If he don't want you there and wants you to resign, why is he all of a sudden going to give you a good recommendation?
Exactly. And that's why I was like, I think this is above his head. And someone's making him. And I've heard rumors that city council and city manager was making this decision because he was like, tell me wherever you go, put me down as your first reference, and I will tell them I would hire you in a second. And, I'm like, well, why would you do that? If I'm having to resign and I can't work here, why would you do that? And, I'd spoken to him a few weeks ago. I go back and just speak to people every now and then. And he was like, because the decision was made for me. He said it was above my head. And I was like, wow. And I asked him about posts. I'm like, is it going to post or whatever? What should I do? And he was like, find it, though. And he goes, if you post for to keep or still grant you worthy, he said, I would even think about bringing you back. And I'm like, why? And he, and I was like, was it made above your head? And he goes, it absolutely was.
So what makes you think that he can hire you back when those same people are still above him?
Correct. And that's why I'm not, fighting at the walls trying to get back.
You think he was just telling you that where you'd go quietly?
I don't know. I can't say that for certain.
I got you.
I can't. I mean, that's way above my pay grade, and I can't answer that.
Got you.
But he told me, post, you kept your certification a few years down the road. He was like, I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but he was like, no, I'd bring you back, and, when the first hearing or interview I had with him, he was like, put me down as your recommendation for a job. You're welcome back here wherever you want to come say hey to people. And I'm like, this don't seem like the kind of conversation for somebody you're making resign.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I understand.
I didn't think I was resigning under investigation because OPS was in there. They had everything. the GBI was never consulted, and they presented everything they had to me. And he goes, "I'll accept your resignation." So I was like, "Okay, investigation's concluded. All right, sir, here's my resignation." So I didn't think I was resigning under investigation because I didn't think nobody else was investigating it. So I didn't think it was. I thought it was just a pure resignation.
Now, when did they call you back in?
I don't remember the exact date. It was about 2 weeks after my first drug screen to go on admin leave, and then about 2 weeks after that. So probably about 4 weeks after my initial drug screen.
You went on the 4th. Let's see. So, because they've got you on the gateway as resigning June the 2nd, which is a Friday.
That might be right.
That following Monday would have been 2 weeks and 2 weeks.
So that would be right.
Okay. Friday, June the 2nd. Yeah, okay.
And, I also asked, I was like, why wasn't I polygraphed? And apparently our polygraphist was being investigated at the same time.
What's their name?
Why didn't we outsource it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, what's their name?
The polygraphist,
Yeah.
her name was Andrea Duke, maybe?
What, Andrea Robinson?
No, it ain't Andre Robinson. That's the major. This woman's, I think it's Andre Duke is her last name. It may be Scott. She's a polygraphist there.
Oh,
She's had last name change.
I got you. Okay.
So I was like, why wasn't polygraph ever brought up? I'm showing none detected on any substance. It's just this ratio y'all are talking about. I'm like,
yeah, and if you're telling them you wasn't currently taken, and they produce lab results that suggest you were, then I agree. Why not test? Why not polygraph you? Why not send you to another department to polygraph you?
Yep, and I talked to Mark Cavender after the fact, and he goes, "No, I've been a detective for however many years." And he said, "We only polygraph people we don't believe because we want that caught as evidence." He said,
Yeah.
He said, "I believe people that, if we refuse to polygraph them, don't want to polygraph us because there's a slight chance that we believe they're telling the truth and we don't want that caught." You know what I mean?
Yep, I understand.
So I was like, whatever, man. I'm making more money now. I get to see all my kids' ball games. I don't miss holidays now. I'm home for dinner every night. I got a significant pay raise. It's not the end of the world.
I understand. Well, I'm glad you're still stepping up in the jobs and still enjoying it. I know it's probably not ideal, but all those things you just said mean more than where you were.
Yep, correct.
All righty. Well, I'm going to try to get finished up with your case, hopefully by next week, and get it turned in to try to get it on the next probable cause committee. The next big council meeting is next week, which it won't make it to that. I'm hoping it'll go before probable cause and then make it to the general council on December. I think that's the last one of the year. They meet quarterly.
Yeah.
So I hope by the end of the year, you'll have a final answer on this, and you can close that chapter.
I'm in a rush to get back into law enforcement. Is this administrative, criminal?
It is. No, it's just a civil administrative investigation on your certification. That's all.
Okay, when you said probable cause, oh God, what are we getting into again?
Well, that's what we call the committee, is the probable cause committee. They look at the case and they determine, is there enough to issue, a recommendation as far as negative towards your certification. What are the facts? What are the causes? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that was another thing. Why didn't the GBI get involved in mine if they were involved in the others? That's why I was like, was it not worth it? Did they not have enough? They never had any evidence that I ever possessed it. I'm like,
I understand.
I don't know why the GBI never grabbed it or anything.
Yep, I understand. I get you.
Yep.
All righty, man. Well, best of luck to you. And if you need anything, give me a call. If anything else pops up, I'll give you a shout.
All right, thank you, buddy.
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Sorry,
Jeremy Butler
is not available. LaGrange Police Department.
Yes, ma'am. I'm trying to speak to Jeremy Butler.
Okay, he is out of his office right now. He's in training. Can I send him an email and ask him to call you back?
Is there anyone there that can answer some solid questions about open records?
What are your questions?
Somebody closed out a request I sent in for images of Shelnutt and Nunez, Garrity on file, and the case files, they got them terminated for use of steroids, which eventually got them decertified by the Georgia Post Council last year for that. And they closed the request, and he said it was part of a GBI investigation. I'm not buying it, but it still doesn't exclude the fact that he has to give me the image on file, a service photo of those officers, and any Garrity they have on file.
Okay, what's your name?
My name is Billy.
I'm sorry?
My name is Billy. So I'm wanting to talk to someone there that can answer some solid questions about what is true and what's not true here, because this happened
Your
years
name was
ago.
Billy?
Billy, yes.
Is that a good number for you?
Yeah, but tell whoever, if he tries to call me, tell him to text me first, and then I'll call him right back.
Well, he's not going to be able to text you because his only texting capability is on his personal phone.
So there's no one else there that I can talk to about this? He's the only
There's not
guy.
anyone in the office right now. He would be the one that you would want to speak with.
Who, can I speak to someone in Internal Affairs?
Hold on just a moment. Billy?
Yes.
Okay, he is possibly in the same training. He's not answering his phone.
So who's running the place?
What do you mean?
Like, who's in charge there right now? Who's the highest ranking officer in charge of that building right now?
Well, I don't know if Chief's in, but he might be. But as far as open records, then that would be Captain Butler.
Yeah, I get that, but now it's turned into a complaint, and I need to speak to someone about this. I mean, you know,
Okay,
you
would you
guys
like
have
to
already
call?
wasted valuable time on the 72-hour deadline here.
Okay.
I mean-
Would you like to speak with a patrol supervisor? Understand, they will not be able to help you on the open records part of this.
I mean, it needs to be someone in an investigative position that can actually investigate the situation, like Internal Affairs. But you're saying no one's there from Internal Affairs, so it's just one
I
guy?
said that he's there. No, I said that he's possibly in training. He's not answering his phone. We have a lot of training going on right now. Hold on one second.
Okay.
Sir?
Yes.
Okay, so right now my only option is to leave send an email to Captain Butler and ask him to give you a call.
Okay, and what was your name again?
Susan
Susan, what's your last name?
Whitley,
Are you state...
Whitley.
Oh, thank you. Are you certified by the state of Georgia Post Council?
No.
You're not. Oh, so you're not a state certified officer.
No, I'm a clerk. I'm a secretary.
Oh, wow. Okay, so, oh my goodness. All right, if that's the only option, then that's the way we'll go, because I mean, something's really, really going on with this prior restraint being used to keep me from getting these records. You know, it's not about your agency; it's about these two cops, which one of them is now a cop in Florida, and I've just paid for the open records for that to see if he put that on his application before he got hired. So I'm doing a really deep investigation right now, and I'm on my boss has me on a strict time limit to get these records, and all of this prior restraint is going nowhere. So that's my issue, and you're not even a state certified officer who has any investigative abilities whatsoever.
So I'm going to send this email to Captain Butler and ask him to give you a call.
Okay, alrighty.
All right?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Forth. I know there's some back and forth. I think that the admin reached out to you. Another voicemail message got sent to us, and you had some information you wanted to provide on one of our deputies. Is that correct?
Yeah. Nunez. His name is Nunez.
Okay. Yep. So there you go. You got to it before I could get to it. But yeah, your last name is Billy Bloom. Bloom, right?
Correct. Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. So, you remember what information you had to provide us?
Yeah, it was, he's under investigation by the Georgia Bureau of Investigation.
Okay.
For use and possession of steroids.
That's correct, yes, sir.
I found this out through an open records request, of course, where they're making it exempt because it's an ongoing investigation. And he was decertified in the state of Georgia last year as a police officer.
Now, if you could help me out with this, because I understand, and let me give you a little background about me, is I've been at this sheriff's department. There was a new sheriff that was elected back in November of 2024, along with a lot of other elections that went on. And so there's a new sheriff, and that sheriff took effect in January, and I came over with him. So just bear with me that I don't know a lot of the employees here, and I've done investigations before as far as internal affairs, so that's nothing new.
Okay.
But I just want you to understand that myself, the sheriff, and several other people, administrative-wise, command staff-wise, have come over. So we're all new to this particular organization, not new to law enforcement, but new to this organization. So, you mentioned that his certification in Georgia, he was decertified. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. He was revoked, I believe, August of last year. I have his certification. I can send that to you, but...
yeah. I don't know how I'm trying to think. If you have something that shows he was decertified, revoked, whatever the case may be, because, again, I wasn't here when he went through the process of being hired and all of that stuff. But if you're telling me he's decertified, I'd like for you to be able to show that to me if you would be willing to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I can send you as soon as I get home. If you want to send me an email, that way I can I can reply directly to you with this certification.
Okay.
And I'll also send you a screenshot. I'm not sure where the open records request is with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation on him. I'm waiting on him. I'm waiting on him to tell me that it's exempt.
I guess, I sent that email to you, so it should be in your whatever the Mad Videos at gmail.com. It's going to be there. So if you send that to me, whatever, I probably won't see it until Monday because I'm going to take the rest of the day off on Sunday, and then I'll be back on Monday.
Yeah.